Hi guys, Penny Rose Journals, how you doing? Yes, I am here today to make up a bundle of rust dyeing. I have a few fabrics here that I am going to just wrap together with some salt, vinegar and water. And rusty things. So just cheap vinegar. This is just a local store brand of vinegar. And the same with salt, just regular old table salt. And of course, just some water. Just plain water, nothing exciting. Ta-da! It's in a spray bottle because I keep a spray bottle in my room. I will be taking the top off and pouring the water on because who's got time for spraying? So this is just an old piece of bed sheet. It is quite a sturdy bed sheet, and I find it rust dyes quite nicely. Here are all my rusty things, so we'll be just scattering those through as we go. Now you can also wet this down as you go. I do not bother. I am going to wet it down just as I wrap it up and then pour some more over it. So I will make sure it is well soaked. So the idea is just to scatter a few rusty things around and then start building up like a layer cake. I'll put down some rusty things, I will put down some fabric and more rusty things and more fabric and more rusty things and so on and so forth. So yes, I will double time this so that you are not having to sit and watch me scatter rusty things around fabric for the next sort of 50 minutes or so. We can cut it down to a much shorter period and you won't miss a thing. All of these rusty bits are, well, I say all of them, most of them are office supplies, little clips and whatnot that you would find around an office. There is some twisted wire, there's some old tool bits and pieces, nothing major, some keys, nothing you can't just sort of find around. That's where mine have come from. I found them around. As always, the fabrics are all sort of different. My rust dyeing is always a complete experiment. I don't know what half my fabric is. It comes from old clothes from the Goodwill and things that people give me. So yeah, I just sort of throw it in and see what happens, and most of the time it works out okay. So yes, there is all kinds of fabric in here and all kinds of little bits of found rusty stuff. So yeah, just try it with whatever you have. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? It doesn't go rusty. I mean, ew. This is a weird little sort of packaging bag. Something I bought came in it. I don't even know what it's made out of. It looks like interfacing, but it's not iron-on interfacing. There's no sticky side, so I don't know what that'll do, but I threw it in there anyway because I didn't know what else to do with it. So we'll see how it turns out. Now let's get some salt in here and some liquid into it as well. It's a bit difficult. This little baggie does not want to get wet, and then yeah, it decides it's going to pour down the back. And anyway, we'll get that out of the way. Pour some more salt, vinegar and water on, and we'll start wrapping up, and then we will wet it down a bit more once it's wrapped. There are no measurements. I just pour stuff on until I'm happy with it. I guess with this I probably used about a cup of vinegar, a cup of water, and I don't know, half a cup of salt or something. I really don't have a clue, to be honest. The idea is to get it salty and thoroughly wet, and and then just leave it till it rusts. So just however you're happy with it, really, basically. It's all an experiment. Like I say, every time I do this, it's an experiment. It's like I've never done it before. Maybe if I kept records, like, I don't know, video maybe. Maybe if I looked back at my records, I would have more of an idea of what I'm doing. But basically, it's just a fly by the seat of your pants every time I do this. So, in any case, the directions would be to just get it thoroughly wet. The vinegar and salt and water will react, whatever, as long as it's wet enough, you will get some result. Now, wherever you leave this, I suggest you leave it somewhere warm. If you leave it somewhere warm, it works quicker. I would normally leave this for a few weeks because I do quite a bit of this in the winter, funnily enough. I usually leave it around for about 2 weeks before I open it up. This one, I think it was there for 2 or 3 days, and it was blooming away quite rapidly after a couple of hours. So yeah, it rust dyed very quickly, this batch, and it's a beautiful batch of rust dye. So I suggest somewhere warm makes things work a lot quicker and possibly a lot better. But like I say, who really knows? Anyway, I'm just working this a bit, massaging it a little to make sure that it is wet to the core. Like I say, you could probably wet it down a lot more before you wrapped it, which would make things easier. But the fact was, I was working on my desk, and there's just not really enough room for me to get things thoroughly wet there without getting my entire bench and everything around me wet, and I did not want that. So I took this out of my room and popped it in the landing of the top of my stairs at the sort of attic entrance. It kept it out of the main house. The whole place upstairs here smelt like a fish and chip shop for a couple of days, which is I don't know if it's a pleasant outcome or not. But I didn't want my whole house smelling like that. Luckily, as hot air rises, it kept the stench of the salt and vinegar upstairs, so nobody else in the house was bothered by it, except for me. So, but it was not in my craft room because, I think it might have been a little bit overwhelming in there. So maybe keep that in mind as well. If you've got an outdoor shed or somewhere where it stays nice and warm during the summer or whatever, it might be a good place to do it. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's our little rust sausage made, and I will go and stick that in my landing, let it stay there for a few days, and come back and show you the results. And here we are, unveiling time. Isn't it gorgeous? It's hard to believe this happened over literally a couple of days. Like I say, within a couple of hours, this bloom had sort of started to come up, and I was quite excited about this batch, so left it about as long as I could handle, to be honest. I'm going to unwrap this, show you the fabric as I go, and I will be sort of shoving it in wash bags as I go along, and I will take it straight downstairs and put it through my washing machine. It's so warm at the moment. This is still damp, by the way. It is not thoroughly dry. It's still warm up here at the moment, so I'm just going to run it through the washing machine and bring it upstairs and hang it, and it will be dry overnight without a problem. So once it's dry, I'll run an iron over it quick. Not that I ever iron anything except for my rust dyeing, so that I can show you guys properly. So I'll run an iron over it just quickly to just make it easy to see, and I will reveal the whole shebang to you the way it ended up. But look at this rust, isn't it lovely? This weird little bag didn't do a lot. It got some rust on it. Surprisingly, it got very little rust on it comparative to the amount of things that were sitting on top of it. But yes, it did rust a little, and did wash quite well and retain that rust. So I'm sure it will be useful for something along the way. This piece got quite a bit of this green on it this time, which I really like. Still not entirely sure where that comes from, but it's there. I'm guessing it's some of the keys, but I don't really know. But I enjoy it, so yeah, it's welcome to show up anytime it likes. And here we are. This is the big reveal. Everything's been washed, lightly ironed and folded nicely so that I can unfold it and show you our results. And I am more than happy with this lot. Yeah, a lot of that grey washed out, and we are just left with the rust, and I am really, really pleased with it. So what will I use this for? Oh, well, you know, embellishing, tag toppers, you know, layering, maybe even, you know, popping one of the doilies as a page in a journal. Yeah, just about anything. So anything I would use fabric for in a junk journal, this will be good for. So some of this lace turned out really lovely. This was an old shirt, you can probably tell. Yeah, I'm just very pleased with this batch, and yeah, like I say, it only took a couple of days, so got to be happy with that. Anyway guys, I will continue to show this to you. I hope you have enjoyed seeing my rust dyeing this time round. It's been quite successful, so yeah, give it a go. It's a lot of fun. You just never quite know what you're going to get. Of course, maybe if you look back at your notes, you know, but whatever. It is what it is. It's a lot of fun in any case. So, all right, guys, have yourselves a lovely day. Thanks for being here. I appreciate your company as always, and I will see you again next time. Bye.